So this is a PC build that's cost me a few bucks. I actually got this board for free because it was one of the boards a guy I know on Trade Me didn't really want, and he swapped it for a case that he wanted, and I got this board, and it seems to be working, unlike the other one that didn't work. He did give me another board, but this other one appears to have some issues. I can't get it to boot, and I think it's because of that little bent pin on the board and a couple of others, so I'll probably use that for parts. But this is currently running 8 gigs of RAM, as you can see, 8 gigs of the slowest RAM known to man, DDR3 of course, a Intel cooler, and a Western Digital Blue SATA disk, which I have got resetting a version of Windows 11. And yes, this is running a i5 2400, so a pretty cheap CPU. I paid $9.99 for it, and it's perfectly capable. Little workstation chip, decent clock on it. I think 3.2 gigahertz or something along those lines. And he gave me this case here, which he didn't want because he said it was too large. So I'll use it for this build. It's a bit of the opposite of a sleeper. You know, you see the case and you think, oh, something's going on here, and it's just a workstation. What I'm probably going to do in future is chuck Windows 7 on this. It's now being a stable machine, so that's good. The only issue is that I have to get that power supply to plug into this and fit in the case. But the Mobo power supply connector is not long enough to reach across, in the correct orientation, so I will probably have to find another power supply, which is alright. I did think that this stock 300 watt power supply was a bit noisy, but actually it's actually dead quiet. I just think the old case was a bit wobbly, and didn't have the power supply plugged in properly. Generally speaking, this board's in pretty decent nick, as you can see. It's no corrosion or anything like that. All the caps are pretty good. That one's a bit wonky, but I don't really think it's causing any issues. As you can see, it's all very nice, very quality. I think I paid $10 for the RAM, and I paid $10 for the cooler, and I paid almost $10 for the CPU. So that's pretty good. And it is, well, it appears to be cooling, so that's pretty awesome. I've got to pick up my PC Wi-Fi card and Firewire hub because I left that behind. So I'll have to pick that up tomorrow. I'll need to put a CMOS battery onto this board as well. I want to run some more drives off of this machine because I want to use it for some emulation and all sorts, and maybe some server storage. What else? Yeah, not really much else. But yeah, I was having a bit of shit with it yesterday. It was kept boot looping and all that, but now it's playing ball. I think it might be because I'm using this display instead of that display. It seems to like this Panasonic display, which is fine because I don't use this anymore, so I'll probably use it for this machine because it's a decent sized display anyways that supports 1080p output. But yeah, this machine, it's just chugging along nicely. You know, the fan's not having to rev up, so it's clearly not doing anything that's warming it up too much. Obviously it can't be, it's just resetting the disk. But yeah, yeah, still coolish here coming off. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. So yeah, hopefully I will have some more updates. Well, actually, while we're still here, we'll just come over to the wardrobe. I've got a few projects in mind. I've got my old Lenovo here. I've got a Vio, which I managed to damage the fucking display on. So I'll have to turn this into some sort of desktop and then run it out of the VGA port because HDMI does not function on this device until the OS is booted. It's not BIOS compatible, so I have to use VGA on it. What a real pain. This is my Lenovo. It finally gave out. The hinge and the display backlight no longer works, which is fine. 3 years on, I'm not too picky about that. It did have a very rough life, and as you can see, it's not looking too great. And then I have this Toshiba L300 satellite. So I've had one of these before, I think a couple of years ago. And I ran Vista on it, and it ran all right. So I might try and get Vista running on this one, but I'll have to find it a charger and some RAM. I have plenty of hard drives around, and I'm about to get another one out of this drive here. So yeah, got an 1,000 gig or 1 terabyte, and then I've got a 64 gig SSD stick of DDR3 that's randomly sitting around in this 80 gig, which I'll probably stick onto the PC. I've got all my boxes and stuff up there, but this is one of my amps that I received for free after my dad upgraded his Class D amp, so I'm going to have a fiddle with this. It does work, but there is something very wrong with the wiring, because it fizzes and crackles, and you tap it to get the right channel back, so there's clearly some grounding issues, so I'll have a fiddle with that. Is there anything else? Probably not. Yeah, aside from that tablet, which I've got to replace the screen on and sell it on because I don't need it. Yeah, there's not really much else. Got that Marley speaker there that I'm going to pull apart, try and get it running again. Yeah, not really much else, I don't think. But, you know, I'm keeping myself busy. You know, some little tasks to do while I'm not working, or while I'm off work. I am working, but, like, you know, when I'm not working, that's what I meant to say, of course. Yeah, so that's basically it. I might try and get that board to work, may have to chuck it in the oven, and then I may have to go ahead and straighten all these little pins out, which you can wish me luck on, because there's one bent there, and there's a few bent all over the show, and this board's in generally pretty crappy nick, so... Oh, there we go. It's in generally pretty crappy nick, so I'll have to have a wee fiddle and see if I can get it to go. And if I can, then I might do something else with it. Yeah, it's a wee bit nicer of a board, but I think it might be a bit older also. Yeah. Oh well, that's basically it for the for this video. I'll probably make another one at some point. But yeah, so far it's mainly this machine, this really cheap machine, and a version of Windows that this board should not be running, but it is anyway, so who cares.